Diagram, the New York Tyrant, the Kenyon Review, West Branch, the Literary Review, Salt Hill, and Chorus, just to name a few. He just finished up with a tour of the West Coast. He's been to Los Angeles, Portland, San Francisco. Tonight he's here at Poets Hall. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Corey Zeller.
Thank you. I'm going to read a few poems from my book, Man vs. Sky. These are prose poems written in the voice of my best friend who took his own life. So I'm just going to go ahead and start. I am going to do a few things can't nobody follow. I am going to be a sputtering gray zeppelin in what used to be sky, the wah-wah pedal wind, and everything else. I am going to show you up with congas and weird smiles, a touch without skin, skin for eyes. If you perceive a lake before you, then you perceive me, my body, a wide, low place of drowning. Watch. I am going to do one thing that will leave you breathless. I am going to make you perform a great act of sorrow over and over after me. Watch, repeat. Look at you all tumbling down, hanging there. You didn't know you were loose rocks, shaken out of a mountain after eons and eons of waiting and try after my seismic went. You can feel it now though, this tough, invisible tie to the air. You've always been floating. Just pick up your feet and watch. Okay. I want to thank Steve for inviting me. I want to thank you all for coming out, in particular Chris and Julio. Thank you. Interesting story about my book here is it wouldn't exist if it wouldn't be for the hall. When my friend died, I came here, and I'd never been here before. And I was obviously in a really bad place. I'd written a few of these poems. I read them, and there was a guy here, I can't remember his name, but he was recording it. Do you know his name? Daryl. And Daryl was recording it. So when I was in talks with this publisher, I sent her a video of me reading here, and that led her to reading some of my poems. So this book, Man vs. Sky, wouldn't exist if it weren't for coming here. All right. Here's another one. When the rest of you were busy being children, I made a man out of bicycle parts, a stereo inside the air, basement reverberations. I was mud and cargo shorts. The long grass behind the cul-de-sac where kids hid warm beer, oily rainbows in your backyard pools, endless bare feet. I can't hide from you anymore. You are a part of my open head, chasms of stone things, lots and lots of useless staring. You should see it here, be here. The trees sizzle like long stems of broccoli inside a black pan. The glass leaps into the ground and vice versa. Everything blurs but you. I'll just bleed so the stars can have something dark to shine in. A coughing space. Room to stretch down and touch their painted toes. Imagine the stars dancing around like cartoons, perfect and faceless. Imagine I'll never see a single one again. I can't tell you what color the floors are here, if there are street lights outside, who is walking through the hallways. I can't tell you anything anymore. The world drifts from me the way ice drifts from the space where the water breaks through. It dissolves on its own year after year, stitches sewn out of the cold. Blazing a trail in black water, I rise, not moving. There is no width to these spaces now. Everything is an opening. Everything careens. There is no such thing as heart or tongue. If I make a simple step here, it becomes a small cage, rolling back into other cages, a large misshapen body of slots and bars. There is nothing to put inside it or me. Instead, I wait here, where the branches above the water are black shawls, all pointing the same way, threadbare and deliberate. There are no angels to speak of here. If there are any anywhere, they are not winged people, raging stallions. They are simply pieces of different animals, collected, suspended in midair, galloping into a distance that never really was a distance. Galloping until there is nothing left of them but the sound of birds being born underwater, the sound of the wind dreaming of stillness, the stillness dreaming of me. Where's Chuck? Chuck told me not to read the same stuff over and over again, so I'll just pick a random. Of the red liquid in my fingers where I've lain out naked, I have nothing to say. Paul Celan has become a fountain. He pours blonde birds from his mouth that peck each other to death. If not that, they build their own cages to soon peck each other to death. Neruda is the same as he was before. He reaches inside his fat stomach and pulls out flowers to pass to the skeletons of women. He says, if you still had hair, I would wind myself in it like a tarantula, wind it round my neck till it was the only thing that held me between the air and the light. The skeletons stick the stems through their ribs. The flowers in their bellies make them look like cherry blossom trees, petals floating from them as they walk away. A dream like a plaid shirt that takes forever to fall to the floor is still just a dream. My chest cavity is a window of plaid. I unbutton it. I am standing in the room I died in. The wall here is made of plaid, the body in the bed too. What pushes inside me is not a heart. It is a hummingbird with tartan wings, a beak as thin and sore as a child's broken arm. It is whatever you cannot imagine the air can do. A choice between all the air in the world and none at all. And then I noticed there were no young men, no old ones either. There was no low breathing, no disturbed fuses and flop house laughter, nothing to be said about crack pipes or tatter or fractions, just trees. What Dante says happens to us in a certain circle. These crooked things living on their own voices, their same sounds. Bark peels from them without the wind having to help. They are terrified of themselves and their tallness. Don't get it twisted, Dante, baby. They do not cry out for having had a piece of them broken, for having bled again. They cry only because their branches sometimes reach each other out of the long, dry stillness. They cry out, quivering, simply for having touched.
Okay.
Okay. I guess I'll read another random one, and then I'm going to finish up, if that's okay with you guys. My teacher has a tongue like a cow. The boys wore red polo shirts, and the girls wore plaid skirts. Both were enunciations. We were waiting for something. Chalk dust made the air thick enough to weigh, hold. We were waiting for our bones to stretch out of our skin, to be more than tiny skins. I was whispering in the ear of the boy next to me. I was telling him there's a meaning to all the bodies, telling him how to open the glass. He was brown hair and light eyes. He was the soft part of a knife, his face a plastic bag over the moon's damaged head, sucking in and out where a mouth should be. We waited there the way I waited for her later, dutiful, hands crossed, pledging allegiance. When she came back, it was like learning your very first secret and watching it snap in half. It was being the light, eating the light, yet staying the blackest thing. I guess I'll read two more. Nailed up to the china berry. You were not shared. The land was gone as well, and what piled in its place made things disappear, wither, and contract like a snake opening up to fit a lamb inside it. A beautiful pink sound came and went. The child became drops of something almost liquid. I was videotape around you, a video cassette of a child's birthday party, people waving at the camera. It was the 80s. The lighting in the room was bad. The kid was wearing a Transformers shirt. The family was a family, but could morph into something else, something darker and powerful, machinery. I cannot make out their faces, but I know they've been smiling too long, uncomfortably long. I wish I could tell you how bad this hurts. It's weird because when I was reading in all these places, I didn't read a lot of these poems that I'm reading now. And I haven't had a chance to even look at this book. So since it came out. So reading these, it brings back a lot of emotion about that time. And there's a lot of reasons to write poems. And we all, I'm sure in this room, have lost somebody. And my feeling is when I was writing this, it's not going to bring you closer to the person you lost. And it's not going to bring them back. But if you have someone like that, write something for them. Because that means something. It doesn't have to be in a book. You don't have to get it published in a journal. None of that shit. Just write something for them. And that's all that matters. I dream the sick roses sitting up in their blood at your feet, growing like the sun, the real sun, pulling itself out of the rusted belly of the earth. Inside the sun, millions of broken antlers shovel through burning rocks as another blank day rides the back of an orange month. No calendar can touch it or me. I dream the sounds the sun makes are really my little brother, tearing apart our house with his little teeth. Below it, he finds the skeleton of an infant. Now you know where I've been. And I think that's it. Thank you.